Hello and welcome back to the video on the rest of today and to another edition of NXT 2.0 out of 10. And yeah, it's a big show today because of course we're just now a few weeks away from the Great American Bash, and obviously yeah, that's going to be a big show. We've got Braun Breaker versus Cameron Grimes for the NXT title coming up, and much more. So yeah, like I said, it's going to be a stacked show today, and let's get straight into it with Grayson, who was out for the evening match. He said Solo has been getting too much attention recently and proceeds trash talking for a few seconds before Solo attacked him after the match, before the match gone. But anyway, he moved in this match. Solo took control early on and took Waller down before the match went outside. Waller then sent Solo to the floor, and Sikoa came back with a big elbow strike. Back after a break, Waller got a big roundhouse kick for a near fall before dropping Sikoa once more with a knee strike. Waller then went up top to the top rope, but Solo brought him down with a strike. Solo then got a big super kick, and charged at Grayson, be sidestepped, challenging Sikoa into turnbuckles. Waller then came in with a rolling cutter and picked up a sudden victory. And yeah, overall this gets a 7 out of 10 from me. I mean, there's still an excuse for Solo, but on the whole, it's a decent match, really getting Waller over in that character, so he didn't really have a problem with it. D'Angelo was then backstage and told Santos that Legato would be hell to pay if the Don didn't walk out as champ tonight, before we got Caden Carter and Katarina Chance versus Valentina Farrows and Usually Leon. Carter landed a big kick to start things off, and then came out a sunset flip and got a near field. Chance then tagged in and hit a big springboard drop kick before being caught in the hole by Leon. Carter and Chance then got some near falls before Katana was isolated in the ring, but managed to counter a double suplex into a net breaker. Carter and Chance hit tandem moonsaults before Farrows broke up the pin. Carter landed a super kick and Chase followed a 450 splash and picked up the win. And Jack gets a 6 out of 10 from me. Decent enough for his tag team match. No issues with it really. Yeah, just a solid TV match. Wesley was out next and talked about having to leave his brother and MSK behind. He was talking about how much he was going through in his career when Trick Williams interrupted and mocked him. Lee reminded Williams that he was just a sidekick and challenged into a match. Trick said that they will have their match but at a later time before walking out. Before we got Diamond Mine versus Legato. Strongman Wild kicked off the match and Kent was tagged in early on. Wild took a backbreaker before tags were made. Del Toro hit a crossbody on Strong before following up with another dive in the corner. Strong then got a back suplex before Wild broke the pin. Kent was sent outside before Stacks and Two Dimes ran the interference. Roddy was in the ring and hit jumping knee on Wild before picking up the win. And Jack gets a 6 out of 10 from me. It was a decent enough match. Yeah, probably gets a 6 out of 10. I mean, there was some decent bits in there. Probably the right result. But yeah, kind of like the last match, just a solid enough TV match for what it was, really. Giovanni Vinci was backstage and ran into Ika Manjiro before we got a short promo for Apollo Crews. Toxic Attraction were out next and they trash talked Roxanne Perez and Corey Jade. Perez and Jade walked out and Mandy told them that neither of them deserved a shot at her title. Perez wanted to challenge for the tag titles for her best friend Jade as Katana and Caden interrupted them. They both wanted to tag title shot and argued their brawl before breakout as we headed backstage. Karrion and James and Hartwell then had a run in backstage and Hartwell challenged her to a match next week before we got Cameron Grimes versus Anofi. Grimes had the upper hand early on in the match and got a huge high crossbody for a near fall. Grimes took a jumping knee off the middle rope before he was sent outside. Anofi then followed up with a dive to the outside and took Grimes out before the match headed back to the ringside. Grimes then got a big slam in the ring and went for the cave and getting the W. And yeah, I mean, this kind of just a match after leading this belt recently, of course, to build Grimes up for challenging Braun Breaker. Nothing wrong with it, 6 out of 10. Thea Bodie was still hearing a run at Chase U, being the only two students at the school. Nikita Lyons announced her return next week in a short promo. Looking forward to that. Before we got Wagner versus Brook Jensen. Jensen unloaded on Wagner off the bat, but Von came back with strikes of his own, and Jensen took Wagner down with a spinning heel kick before Von got a DDT. Wagner then went against Brook's injured arms and slammed it against the ring post a few times before taking it down. Jensen tried for a top rope move, but it was countered by Wagner. Von followed up with the Olympic slam and picked up the win. Kind of raising that loss from a few weeks ago, which I found strange. But yeah, they did a good job of doing that. Made Von Wagner look like a killer, no problems with that. Before we got backstage, Braun Breaker came into the locker and told Grimes that he wanted to face the version of him tonight from at Great American Bash. Grimes warned him that if he faced this version, Braun would lose his title. Before he got Alba Fire versus Lash Legend. Lash unloaded on Fire as the match began and got a few near falls before falling out with vertical suplex. Fire then came back with some strikes but took a big slam in the middle of the ring. Lash then took a big boot before taking the Glory Bomb. Fire then went to the top but missed the finisher. Legend got Fire's finisher and then a baseball bat and beat her with it, earning a DQ loss in the process. I mean, it's just kind of a crappy ending. It's to be honest, in that AEW women's spot, toward the end of the card, no one really cares, even the company don't really care. I think that's kind of what this was, 5 out of 10. was their main event time, and the match started with started off quite slowly, and Tony got the Taz takedown before we saw Escobar and Legato on the apron with stacks and two dimes. The distraction somehow cost Tony as Mello got some strikes in. D'Angelo came back with a big drop in the ring before Mello dropped him on the apron. Williams then came in to defend his buddy from D'Angelo's goons before Tony sent Mello into the steel steps. After a break, D'Angelo took a beating before one of the associates trapped the referee, and Santos was supposed to hand in the brass knuckles. However, Escobar tossed the weapon to Mello instead. He used it to knock Tony out and get the win. And yeah, I think we all kind of secretly knew this was coming. But yeah, intriguing one. To say the least. Interested to see where that goes now, and on the whole this was really good, 7 out of 10. But overall this week NXT gets a 6 out of 10 from me this week. I'll give it. I mean, like, there were some good bits on there, like the main event was good, first match was good, some not so big goods on there, but you know, on the whole I just feel like most of it was just like middle of the road. Some were good, some were average, really. But anyway, guys, that's it for video. Thanks very much for watching. To like, share, subscribe, don't forget to comment down below before, and so thanks for daily wrestling news and subscribe to my channel. That'd be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace.